Another new day. We finally made it down to Winton and into Bladensburg National Park. Real flat, sandy, sort of plainy national park from what we've seen so far. We've just pulled into the first site. It's called Engine Hole. It's not that toasty today. We're only looking at about 23, 24 degrees, but the sun's beautiful. So hoping, I don't know how active things will be, but hopefully we can find a few things basking, maybe some tristas. We've seen so many black-headed pythons DOR. It's absolutely killing me. I'm sure if you come up here in summer, you'd hit the absolute mother load, but we'll try our luck anyway. How's this little spot here? Has anybody ever seen this before? So you got a whole root system with a stump here, cutting across here into a whole nother tree there. Same down here, you got these root systems cutting right across. That is actually insane. Oh, is that normal? Has anyone seen that before? That is off chop. Next stop in the park, we've come up to the Gull Hole. Probably a 5-minute drive from the last spot. Just through these big, huge, flat plains. There's just really not much out here at all. And then we come to this Gull Hole, which seems to be some sort of canyon. We got some water down the bottom as well, actually. Fair bit of water too. Heck would a jump be if it was a bit deeper. This little bit of water here would literally be like an oasis for anything living out here. There's just nothing, it's so flat. And there's these few little water holes like this. The creek we were just at, literally an oasis. All these rocky outcrops can be perfect for finding our Nephrus eremanga. Hopefully out here tonight, our spiny knob-tailed gecko. So many cracks and crevices for things to get into. You look over here, you got big hollow logs, perfect for our tristas, perfect for birds to nest in. All this escarpment, black-headed pythons will get in that. One's everything out here. This is going to be a perfect spot to look tonight. The temperatures are going to be cold, so to be honest, luck probably won't be on our side. You got the spin effect scattered throughout the rock, which is holding so much heat, which would be perfect for the geckos to sneak out onto during the night. Another little water hole around the corner here. Look at the rock face just swooping all around there. I cannot wait to spend a few hours or an hour, depending on the temps, tonight just exploring this place. This would be teeming with wildlife in the right climate. Can obviously see where water would flow in rains down here into what I think is another little water hole. This one's dried up. So obviously in big rains, this whole gorge, this whole hole through here must fill up with water and support the ecosystem until it dries out, really. Even then, there's still going to be water in the ground. You can see all the tracks through there. All these crevices under here. It's perfect. Oh! You can see just here, tiny little dragon. It's so small, I'm not able to tell what he is. There are earless dragons out here, but I can definitely see an ear hull, so it's not a Tympanocryptus. There's a few species of dragons out here, and being so small, it's very hard to tell. See the sandy soil in the bottom here, literal sand. Look how deep some of these caves are. I know there are parentes in this area, or have been seen in this area. Things like that, parentes love big deep caves they can get into, being such a big lizard. I wouldn't be surprised if Panoptes and Spencers also go in there. I know Spencers prefer a lot of cracks in the ground, but it's always a possibility, but parentes love that. Left my torch in the car, will definitely stick the torch in there during the night. I did hear something scuffle through there. And I also just spotted a little bit of snake skin. So they're around. We just got to find them. All right, and here's the rest of the snake skin right next to that. That is a big snake. It's not fresh by any means. A python. The python of that size out here is obviously going to be, look, I'd be leaning towards probably an olive python skin. Probably an olive python skin, could definitely be a blackhead python skin. Definitely not a children's python, which are out here as well. Olive or blackheads. So we're in the right area. In a crack right next to our python skin, there's a big python poo, if you're interested in poo or not. Just there. Big python poo. And here we are, here's our little empty creek bed running through the middle, which would supply all these little offshoots of the ponds essentially that are left. And how cool is it how much greener down in the gully is than up there, where you can see how much just the water comes through and supplies all these trees and plants, greens everything up, gets everything growing, and then out where there's no water, it's just barren, just flat, got nothing but spinifex. Here we are down at one of the remaining pools. How about that cave over there? These pools would be perfect for our olive pythons. Just coil up just under the water, wait for our mammals to come for a drink, bang, fly out, grab the animal, have a nice big feed. How cool is this? How would this be for a spot to camp? Look at that. Woohoo! I'll climb back up to the car here, guys, and we'll drive on through to the next spot and we'll see what the next site has on offer. Oh, I'm bursting with excitement to get back here tonight. You have no idea. So if you guys do want to camp out here, this is the Bow Shed Hole, or Bow Shed Campground. There's basically all campsites along here. You got fire pits and whatnot. We're staying in town, but this is where you would camp in the park if you did want to camp. Right on the river, there was just right on the creek. There's a rope swing down there. Beautiful. There's just some little dragons running around too. I'm not sure what species are in here. I'll double check when I get back to town tonight what species are in this park. They definitely weren't beardies. They were up on their hind legs sprinting around. They could be, I don't know, Burns dragons could be around this area, but I will double check and I'll get back to you guys. So we're now up the very far end of the park, the further side from Winton. This is Top Crossing. So this is actually part of Surprise Creek. Obviously when the water's high, whichever way it flows, it would flow across here, from that side of the creek, across here, over into there. I think some people may set up camp here, I'm not too sure. But yeah, beautiful little spot. Big flat rock. It'll hold some nice heat for some snakes during the night. You got the water source there, water source there. We'll have a little walk around here, eh? You can see how dry it is. The car's all the way over there and the creek was on the other side of the car. This side's all the way over here, so it's need a bloody fair bit of water to come through to fill this right up, but in the wet season I'm sure it happens, no worries. Back out here, guys. The temps dropped quick. It's 7:30, it's already 17 degrees, so I really don't know if we're gonna have any luck, but fingers crossed. It's worth a crack. We're out here. I'm not gonna let an opportunity go when I got it, so let's go. All the stone's already lost its heat. It's probably been dark for about an hour, so if we find nothing tonight, tomorrow night, we just might have to come out, have a nice early dinner, 5:30, come out here while the sun's setting, and then hit the area just as soon as that sun's setting, when things are coming out, when the stone is still warm and they're soaking up that heat. There's just a gecko here, guys. So there are animals out. It was a very, I don't know if it was sort of like a marbled gecko or a velvet gecko. It was like a translucent purpley pig. He just ducked under there. Hopefully we can find another one. I was just looking through these caves here and a little gecko was right on this edge. He jumped off and ran in there. Same species as before. So I've noticed the top of the rock's actually cooled down, but touching this side of the rock, where obviously the sun was beaming right down on this face, is still warm. So animals are coming out. It's mainly the geckos, well only the geckos so far, and heating themselves up on the edge of this rock, which is holding the heat. Fingers crossed. There he is there. Same species, but a different animal to before. Not entirely sure what it is, if it's a deteller of sorts. I don't think so. Guys, I've just noticed a tail here. I think it's a Aki, a Varanus acanthurus. It might either be an Aki or a storai. Look at that. He's just tucked himself in this little burrow, in this little cave for the night. Probably pretty impossible to get out, but yeah, that's definitely a cool sighting for the area, hey? There we go, I was able to coax him out, guys. A little Aki, a little Varanus acanthurus. A ridge-tailed monitor. And you can see the spikes on his tail. He's trying to get away from me. You can see the spikes on his tail, so he wedges himself, just like the Hosmer skink we saw up at Mount Isa. He wedges himself in those cracks, makes him nearly impossible to get out. A little bit of coaxing. Luckily enough, his little hollow there wasn't too deep and I could say g'day. But how cool is that? Not what I was expecting to find tonight at all. You can see why these guys are such a popular animal in the reptile hobby. Look how small he is, and look at that. Probably never ever interacted with a human, and he's extremely docile. Absolutely awesome little species. We'll send him back into his hole now and let him get back on with his slumber. All right, we'll send this little fella back exactly where he was, back into his hole. He should scurry back in there and go straight to sleep. There he goes. Would not even know he's there. I was lucky his tail was sticking out just enough to see. But there he is, safe and secure. He'll be puffing that body up, and those spines will be sticking him right back in the rock, and he'll be safe for the night. Definitely not what I was expecting to find at all. I was expecting olive python, blackhead, and geckos. We got an Aki. I am not complaining.